Hi everyone, this is Lovelyn Johnson. I'm a Maxwell certified leadership coach. I also have about 20 years of experience in the corporate sector. Today, we're going to talk about the law of empowerment. It comes from this book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. The law of empowerment. Before we go any further, I would like to ask a question. Have you ever felt stifled at work? Like your ideas weren't valued? Or you were never given a chance for growth? That's often the result of a leader who fails to empower their team. Think of the leaders who constantly check and micromanage their team, even though the team is completely capable of performing those functions. They are like this helicopter boss who hover over their team and they don't truly support the team in any way. And because they are so clinging on to their power, they create this false dependence, and the team often feels frustrated and so often top talent sort of leaves because they know there's no growth under the leader. I loved this picture from the book. The book talks about, gives this beautiful picture about a leader who's trying to put down the voices of their people. And what happens is, as they are trying to suppress the people down, they are going down with them, right? Like as the leader pushes them and tries to silence their voice, they're going down with them. However, when a leader is so empowered and empowers others, they kind of rise up with the people. And that is the perfect image. I thought, like, let's not push people down, let's lift people up. And that's the law of empowerment. And the law of empowerment states only secure leaders give power to others. So when you hold power, it tells you that you are an insecure leader. There are many reasons why a leader would probably would fail to empower their team. One of the reason is job security. I know a friend who works who's currently in a job where there is a lot of layoffs happening, and I can understand in those type of instances they want to sort of hold on to their job as much as possible until they find another job. So I can understand in those instances, but often the job security is a false illusion that they create. They think they are good in this work and we want to hold on to our work. And because of that, we are not learning anything new. We are sort of staying in there and we have control, so we think, and we stay in that same place. So that's one of the reasons why a leader fails to empower someone. Another thing is the resistance to change. By its very nature, empowerment brings change. If you think about it, if I have a function that I'm doing and now I'm planning to pass on the process to my team, what does that mean? I now have 2 hours of time in my calendar that I could do something else. So the more I train someone on my work, I need to go find something else to fill the time. I need to be paid too, so I will have to be constantly learning and growing in that instance. So whenever we are good in a process or a particular function that we take, we are very happy with it, and we don't want to let go of it, because letting go of it means we have to learn something new, we have to grow, and it also means that we're getting out of our comfort zone. So there is a bit of a change resistance that happens, and that's one of the reasons why we fail to empower others. The next thing is a lack of self-worth. This is really sad because a needy leader can never empower someone, right? I'm constantly if I want someone to stroke my ego, if I want them to say you're wonderful, your work is excellent, and if I'm constantly waiting for praises and if I'm constantly waiting for followers, then I am lacking self-worth. And when I lack self-worth, I cannot truly lead people, I cannot empower someone. And that's another reason why people fail to empower. I also thought it's not in the book, but I also thought sometimes we lack trust. Like we think we do the job so well, and we want to do it our way, and we sort of hold on to it because we lack the trust that someone else can do a job as well as us. That could also be a reason why we fail to empower others. There are two examples in this book that talks about the empowerment. One, Henry Ford, which who is probably the antithesis to empowerment, and then Lincoln, who's just a marvelous leader when it comes to empowerment. So we're going to talk about Henry Ford first, and then we look into Lincoln. So Henry Ford, we all know Henry Ford. He's a revolutionary leader. He brought Model T, and he had this vision that every American should be able to afford a car. So that's wonderful for a leader. But the thing was, he got stuck in that Model T, that he didn't want to embrace change, and he didn't want to accept new innovations, and that sort of put him in a box. So what he did, he when the team came up and brought some good ideas, when they brought innovation ideas or something new, he sort of rejected, he pushed them back. And over time, like they were, even though they were the first ones to bring automobile into the market, they were the ones who didn't sort of grow with the times because of Henry Ford and his leadership. And top talent sort of left the firm because how what are they going to do by just showing up? And if Ford is constantly pushing back ideas, the top talent cannot stay, so they left. And the consequence was, the company sort of started losing market share, and to a point that every day at one point Ford was losing 1 million a day. And that was the consequence that happened in under the leadership of Henry Ford. There's this nice quote there from Theodore Roosevelt that I wanted to share with you. The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants to do, and the self restraint enough to keep meddling with them while they do it. So, if you are a good leader, a secure leader, what you would do, you would hire the best talent is whom you would hire. And then once you have hired the best talent, you take a step back, you move back and allow them to excel, and you don't meddle with them, you don't stifle their growth, you allow them to thrive. So that's what a secure leader is. Lincoln. While Henry Ford serves as a cautionary tale for empowerment, Lincoln, on the other hand, provides an inspiring model for us. One of the most striking examples of Lincoln's leadership is when he put his cabinet together. Instead of surrounding himself with yes men, he looked at diverse opinions. He invited people who were his staunch opponents, and they were part of his cabinet because he wanted their voices to be heard. He knew the nation was divided, and his only mission was unity. How do I bring unity? And for that, he understood that he probably cannot do it alone. And he brought all these strong men. In fact, the team is called the Team of Rivals as part of his cabinet so that they could lead the nation in a wonderful way. So he never thought about his own goal, his own personal comfort. He put the nation's goals and comfort over his own personal growth and comfort. He was so mission focused. His only goal is serving the nation, and he was so confident about his own leadership skills. If you think about it, inviting people with diverse opinions and keeping them as part of your inner circle when you are making the decision is no easy matter. But for Lincoln, that was his goal. He wanted different voices, and he wanted the best for his nation. So he truly was a wonderful leader because he never silenced people's voices. Instead, he sort of magnified their voices by bringing them and giving them a seat at his table. Now I have a question for you. Do you create space for healthy disagreements? Do you actively seek out diverse perspectives even when you may feel uncomfortable? Think about I have a question for you. Do you create space for healthy disagreements? Do you actively seek out diverse perspectives even when they might be uncomfortable? How can we, like Lincoln, have the courage to empower those who challenge us, knowing that it will ultimately serve our team? So, how do we empower others? The best example that I could think of is to empower someone, you need to be a person who does things in excellence. You need to be a good worker with good values and excellent in whatever you are doing. When you are that, when you're doing it, that's step number one. And step two is you take an element of your function and you decide, I'm going to now teach and coach someone. And you invite them over. As you do the function, they can sit and watch next to you. And that's how you empower them. Once you have done that a few times, you now pass on the control over to them and you ask them to do the function that you taught them. And you sit at the sidelines and sort of wait and encourage them and support them wherever they go wrong. And that's when they truly learn. Because sometimes when they are sitting and watching, they may think everything is wonderful, it's easy, I can do it. But when they go to their table and they start working, they may run into roadblocks. And that's why you sitting next to them would sort of help them and support them in that journey. And then what do you do? Once they feel completely comfortable in doing that function, you fade away, you move on. And now they are taking it and now they are making this much better than what you gave it to them. Like it has now, they have added their own so, step four, once they are ready, you sort of step away, you fade, and then they take over. And now they've taken your process and probably made it better. And that's what your goal should be, that this team should take whatever you are doing and make it better. And you should be very happy for it. Once they have reached that goal of performing it at ease, now their goal is to pass that information and knowledge over to someone else. So they are in turn empowering someone else. And then the loop goes on. You find something else, you pass it on, and constantly someone is learning and growing with you. Let's summarize the law of empowerment. Empowerment is about multiplying your impact. It's not diminishing it. You are multiplying it by sharing your knowledge, sharing your insights to your team, to the people around, so that they are empowered. And secure leaders are always comfortable in empowering others, whereas an insecure leader will be holding on to the power and they wouldn't be willing to share. And you want to be a secure leader so you can be lifted and you would be taken to higher places because you are constantly passing on whatever you learn to someone else and you're taking new responsibilities and you are empowering yourself and you are empowering others. And I want you to, last but not the least, think about this picture where when you silence the voices of your team, you're pushing them down, you are going down with them. But instead, when you bring their voices up and you are constantly encouraging and supporting, you get lifted up. And because of that, you're going to bigger places and your team is also doing the same. I would like to encourage you to ask yourself, are you a confident leader? Are you confident enough to share your insights, your function to people around you? How much do you believe in your people? List the top five people that you are in your team, and see how you're empowering them, and also see them for their potential, not what they are, not based on their current ability, based on their future potential. And so, if you empower them, imagine where they could rise up from. If they are level three, they probably can go to level five, and that's because you are empowering them. Next week, we'll be talking about the law of picture. If you can, do join me. Thank you.